So did you graduate with a social studies degree?
I did.
Nice.
Yep.
And then you put it to use and you moved to Hollywood.
I went right to the game show network.
Oh, really?
That was my first job.
Where was that at?
It was in Glendale. Well,
You came right to L.A.
Came right to L.A. because my girlfriend was a year old. I met her in college.
Okay.
She was a year older, and she was already here.
So how'd GSN come about? How'd the Game Show Network come about?
That was my big Lampoon hookup. Yeah. There was a guy,
That's amazing.
an older guy, who was like my friend is hiring. I was basically an intern there, but it was like a writing intern. It was a paid like writing gig, so I was very excited to do that. And I worked there for an interstitial show, which means that aired during commercial breaks. It was hosted by Alfonso Ribeiro. It was like
Carlton.
Yes, Carlton. It was Game Show Network Live.
Okay.
And so they would be showing like a rerun of Match Game or whatever, and they would cut to a commercial, and Alfonso would be there and say like, "Hey," it would be like a living room set.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Hope you're enjoying the show. Like, here's like a trivia question. We're gonna play this game," and then he would ask a trivia question that I would write. And then at the next commercial break, they would take answers, and the winner would get some ridiculous, like $10,000, some like pretty substantial amount of money for them to give out every commercial break.
Right.
But the people who watch Game Show Network at like 10:30 a.m. or whatever are old. They're super old. And so it would be just people who were calling in, not even having an answer in mind for the question, because you would think like a normal person would hear a trivia question and be like, "I know this, I'll call in." But these people would be like, "I don't know this answer, but I don't even have an answer ready to go, but I'll just call in anyway, just to like talk to my friend from the TV is telling me to call." So I better do what he says. And so they would call in, not be able to answer the question. And my mandate always was to make the questions easier and easier and easier and easier.
That's funny.
And eventually I got in trouble there because I was supposed to do some promotional campaign for something on the website.
Okay.
That Alfonso was going to be in. So I was like writing real dialogue and stuff for him. And so I was like, great, I better do like a really good job at this. And he came up. He sort of like to supervise the process, and he came up and he was like, "How's it going?" And I was like, "It's going great. I just want to know, like, do you like to dance?" Because I didn't want to be like, "Will you do the Carlton for this thing?" and have him be like, "No, I don't do that shit anymore." But so I asked him like, "Do you like to dance?" And he kind of like looks at everyone else in the room with this kind of incredulous face. So they're like, kind of like, who is this guy? Like, what is he? He's asking me like, do I like to dance? Like,
yeah.
Is this like guy like fucking with me? I immediately knew I had like really fucked up. And someone else in the room goes, "Well, he was the tap dance kid." That's what I didn't know. I was not familiar with this either, but of course I was like, "Oh yeah, of course." I didn't know if you still did tap dance kid stuff, not having any idea what this was. But apparently, before he was Carlton, he was like a famous child dancer.
Oh wow!
And he had like videos and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you were just asking if you liked to dance because you were like writing a bit or whatever?
I was doing a bit, and I was hoping he would say like, "Yeah, I'll do the Carlton for this," because that would make my job very easy.
Sure.
I would just like write in.
Yeah.
Alfonso does the Carlton, and just like we're out.
And then that was sort of your last straw at the show?
That was, I mean, I just kind of didn't make it.
Suddenly it came down from management.
There, yeah. I mean, like I was kind of like I was totally on the outs with him, and I was honestly making more money tutoring, and so it was like coming to some kind of inflection point where I would continue. So it was a sort of a mutual parting of the ways at the
old
show
mutual
network.
parting.
Well, and here was the other thing. I was living in Westwood, and the studio was in Culver City on the Sony lot. For the first week I was there, and then at the end of the week they were like, "Oh yeah, and now we're moving to Glendale. Our offices are going to be in Glendale now." So my commute immediately increased by like 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so that became less and less.